The leap from the 9 to 5, the normal day job, the corporate world, knowing what's expected of you, to becoming a business owner, to the world of entrepreneurship, to doing it on your own is a massive leap. And honestly, it is a minefield. It's a minefield for your thoughts. It's a minefield for how you use your energy. And most of all, it's a minefield for how you see yourself. In this episode, I want to talk about developing a powerful self concept as a CEO. This is such a big topic. This is such a juicy one. I can't wait to get into it with you because I truly believe that a big part of what ends up sabotaging early or even seasoned entrepreneurs is their lack of identity as a CEO, their lack of seeing themselves truly as being the one. So there's one question you've got to ask yourself. Are you acting, thinking, and embodying being a CEO in your business, even in your life? Or are you just being a project manager? Let's get into it. So first we got to define some terms, right? I am a classic speech and debater from back in the day. So we always define terms first. What do I mean by CEO? What is a CEO? And I want to talk about what it is, how you know when you're not acting like a CEO and what that looks like in your business. In other words, I'm going to prove to you point by point why this is a bad thing. And then I want to talk about what else is happening. What other roles are you comfortable with that perhaps are holding you back from this greatness? Also, I'm going to make an invitation. I'm going to do it upfront. I'll keep mentioning it, but I've got a free masterclass coming up where we're going to get into all of this. And it's going to be so good. So many gems are going to be dropped in that masterclass. You do not want to miss it. It is called the Confident Cosmic CEO Masterclass, and it is happening on June 18th. If you are listening to this after June 18th, just contact me or my team and we will figure out how to make sure that you can get this because this is going to be gold. So let's get back to our definitions. What is a CEO? Well, I thought, don't take my word for it, as Reading Rainbow Guy said. Let's look at Forbes. So Forbes answers this question, what does a CEO do? The CEO is the highest executive officer. This is from an article they wrote last April, 2024. They said a CEO leads a company, making sure all parts of the business work well together and follow a clear plan. CEOs are responsible for shaping the company's goals and making sure these goals are met. CEOs also help define the company's values and how the firm interacts with customers, partners, and the public. Additionally, they communicate regularly with the company's board of directors, if you have one, to report on progress and get guidance. There are other C-suite executives around, right? There's the COO, the chief operating officer. There's the CFO, the chief financial officer. There may be a CMO, chief marketing officer. But the CEO, and this is now me talking, the CEO is the tippity top, the last word, the person who has the overall vision and strategy. That is what they are responsible for. So I want to address why I wanted to dive into this and bring out this new aspect of my work and really talk to you about this here on the podcast as well. I see through working with my incredible clients, working with ambitious, creative, talented, courageous people, I see that there are certain things that hold people back from really going for it in their business and really believing in their dream, their vision, and making it happen. There are certain things that happen, certain ways that we sabotage ourselves. And I can't unsee these patterns, right? I keep seeing it again and again and again. Of course, as a 2-5 manifesting generator, I see it in myself first. So I experience the challenges. I see these things happen, and then I learn how to deal with it. I learn how to support myself. I elevate my practice, my self-concept, myself, and then I can't wait to tell you about it. I'm not going to gatekeep. I'm not going to keep this to myself. A lot of us are just acting like project managers in our business, and we're downplaying our CEO side. Maybe our CEO side is sleeping. Maybe as you're listening to this, you're thinking, you know what? Yeah, that is me. I have this side, but it's kind of sleeping inside of me. It's a sleeping giant that needs to awaken. Or maybe you're thinking, I don't know if I have that in me. I'm not really sure that terminology, CEO, really applies to me. Well, hopefully by the end of this episode, you understand that it does. And you also start to see what has been holding you back. I started off my business I went full time in 2020. So I started my business in 2019, went full time in 2020, and my coaching business. I had another wellness business, wellness events business before this. But when I started my coaching business, I was just excited to do the work. I just wanted to coach people. I just wanted to work with them. I was like, yes, oh my God, I know that I can help. I know that I can support. I know that I can mentor. I know that I have so much experience, knowledge, heart, passion for this. I got this. And I just wanted clients. And I was like ready to go. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Also, I wanted a way out of my 9 to 5. I felt very smothered by the corporate machine. I felt lost in the machine, just a cog in the wheel, right? A lot of you may identify with this. I worked in tech as a management consultant. Started off my consulting career at Deloitte. Before that, I worked at, smaller marketing agencies, advertising agencies. And after that, went on to continue working in tech as a principal consultant at a boutique. And it was a good career, but not a great one for me. I was good at it, but it was not my zone of genius. And day after day, having to wake up and go into that office or into a client's office or hop on a plane, a train, an automobile, a boat sometimes. Yes, I lived in Putney. I got to work by boat. Loved it. It became soul sucking. It became this ritual of like, I just have to do this rather than this journey, this path to becoming my best self, to giving my best in life, to giving it all that I knew that I could have. So I had this, dark night of the soul, you could say, this quarter life crisis, whatever you want to call it, of my Saturn return, and recognize that there is more out there for me. There are other options. And most of all, at that time, before I even had my business idea, I just knew I wanted to be my own boss. How many of you can relate to that, right? It's like you've thought those words. I just want to be my own boss. I don't want to answer to anyone. I don't want anyone else to tell me what to do. I'm so done with it. I'm done with my parents telling me what to do. I'm done with my teachers telling me what to do. I'm done with anyone, my boss, whatever, anyone telling me what to do. I want to be the last word. Famous last words. Because, of course, then when we actually take that leap and jump into entrepreneurship and say yes to being a business owner, we have some inner work still to do to really anchor in that identity. Maybe there are people out there who just immediately have anchored that identity and just know that they were always born for this, and being the person who owns the vision and strategy just comes so easily to them. I mean, more power to you. I love it. For me and for most of the people out there, it is a journey. It is a shedding of these layers of, compliance, these layers of obedience, these layers of, oh, let me just get permission for that we have built up over a lifetime. And now we have to break it. We have to crack it. We have to let it go so that we can fully step into our confident CEO energy. So, as we said, the CEO is the person who is responsible for the overall vision and strategy. If you are like me, in the start of your business, you're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to just do the work. You just want to help people. You just want to do the work. I just wanted to be a coach. I just wanted to coach people, do stuff, help them build their businesses, help them really identify what their genius is, help them become more of themselves. It was really identity and business coaching. That is my skill, my bread and butter, my genius. And then all the other business stuff at some point is going to come in. You realize that you have to sell. That's usually the first thing you figure out, right? You're like, well, okay, cool. So I'm a coach, or I'm a healer, or I'm a astrologer, whatever you do, service provider. Who am I going to provide this service to? Where are they? How do I find them? How do I talk to them? How do I convince them to buy from me? Right. And so the very first program that I ever bought was a sales program. And even though now I don't agree, and even at the point when I was taking it, there were a lot of things I didn't agree with in the sales program. There were a lot of gems that I still use today, like how to run consults, things like that. There were some amazing like skills that I learned there, but it was the ethos that I needed to decide for myself, like how do I do selling? But that was, usually the first thing that people often go to is like, okay, now I got to learn how to sell. Now I got to learn how to market. Now I got to learn how to like find people, find clients, which is true. That is what you got to do at first. But it's so easy for us to just get lost and distracted by that day-to-day stuff. We take on these roles in our business that are extremely important, especially for a solopreneur from day one, right? If you're a solopreneur from day one, you don't have a team yet, you may not have a business partner, you're doing everything. You're the sales team, you're the copywriter, you're the marketing team, you're the project manager, you're doing it all. And you're also the person delivering the service. So, who's gonna kind of pop their head up above the crowd? Who's gonna pop their head up beyond the day to day and look into the future? A lot of early entrepreneurs don't make time for that. I could say they don't have time for that, but the truth is they don't make time for that. Let's talk about what can happen when we don't. When we're not acting as a CEO in our business, we can get, number one, sidetracked by the minutia of day to day. And there is so much minutia. And the minutia feels huge, huger. Like it's just like there's too much. There's too much. So we're like, oh my God, I need to write this email. I need to learn how to do Substack. I need to learn this new platform. I need to post on my LinkedIn. I need to reach out to so and so. I need to pitch for this article. I need to blah, 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 right? I need to create an offer. I need to create some posts. I need to do a brand, like all of this stuff. There's so much minutia. The minutia is huge. And so that can be very distracting from looking at the big picture. Getting sidetracked means that we never pull our head up, we never look forward. We're only focusing on what is urgent. If any of you have heard of this matrix, I don't even know what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about, the urgent versus important like matrix, where you kind of draw a couple lines and the up and down axis is like how important is something, and then the sideways axis is like, okay, how urgent is it, right? When you're not in your CEO energy, you're only having energy to focus on what is urgent. What needs to be done right now? Oh my God, I have an event coming up and I got to do all the things for the event, or I'm going to be a guest in a mastermind, or I'm running a retreat and I got to just do all those details to get ready for that retreat, right? So that's urgent. The important things that are not urgent go by the wayside because everything is urgent, right? We're not in our CEO energy. Instead, we're in our project manager energy. Now, a good project manager will make a plan. A good project manager will look also at the things that are not urgent, but very important, and will make sure that that part of the matrix gets done as well. They will make a plan, they will have timelines, all of that kind of stuff, but they don't really know what's next. They just know what's next, not what's next, like what's really next, right? There's no future planning. And when you don't look to the future of the next phase of your business, you're not open to evolution. You're just doing the same thing again and again and again. Getting better at it, yes. Gaining skills as you go, yes. Building your income, building your community, you're doing really important things, but you're not thinking about evolution. You're not thinking about how you evolve, how your business evolves, how your clients may evolve. The clients you have in the first couple years of your business may be quite different from the clients that you have in the next couple years in your business. But if you're just head down, doing what you know how to do today, you're not thinking about what you need to learn how to do tomorrow. There will be, if you're not in your CEO energy, there will be a lack of innovation because there's no reason to change. You're figuring out what works and then you're doing what works again and again and again and again. And then the last thing I'll say, I'm sure this list could be much longer, but the last thing I'll say that you want, the last way that you can sabotage yourself by not being in your CEO energy is the one that I think is most glaring that I see when I work with people, and that is playing small. There are a lot of reasons why we play small. And I'll give some examples. There was an amazing, and shout out to you if you're listening to this, but there was an opportunity that I had to create an astrology summit a couple of years ago. It was so great. It was our first summit ever here at Cosmic Queen. We had a bunch of different astrologers come in. Tawny and I just were organizing this. We wanted to have all these speakers and these themes and everything, and it was fantastic. I think it was in 2002 or 2003 that we did this. And it was like, great. This is a great way to, rising tide raises all ships, bring awareness for Cosmic Queen, meet new audiences, bring people together, collaborate, share the magic of astrology through this summit. There were a couple people that I asked to be speakers in this summit who I thought were fantastic. I love their work. I thought they had such a unique point of view. They had a really articulate way of explaining astrology. They share this ethos for empowerment through astrology that I have, and they were also, representing a diversity of backgrounds and groups, and that's something that's really important to me to raise up in my business, is to raise up people of color, raise up people of different genders, different orientations. Like, this is very key for me. And a couple of the people that I asked said, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for this invitation. This is amazing. I would love to do this. You have some great astrologers involved." And I just don't, I'm not, I'm scared. They were like, "I'm not ready. I don't want to speak. I don't know if I can do that." Mind you, these were people who did podcasts, YouTube videos. They were like very visible online. They had bigger audiences than I did at the time that I was building Cosmic Queen, because I started over from my original coaching account. So I started from zero again. I was shocked. I was shocked at their unwillingness to be seen, to reach out to new audiences, to simply, when you break it down, all you're doing is you're coming on a Zoom call with me and answering some questions about stuff that you talk about every day. Why was it that they were like, "Oh, no, 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 no. Like, it's okay for me to talk to my camera, but I can't talk to you on the same camera." What's happening here? This is what I'm talking about. Playing small, right? If they had had their CEO hat on, they would be thinking of the future growth of their business. They would be thinking of, wow, like, this is a great opportunity. I like this person. I'm just talking about what I normally do every day. And it's a great way of building a relationship, right? CEOs are responsible for those high level relationships and collaborations. Playing small because you think of yourself as small, and playing small because you think of your business as small is not what CEOs do. CEOs are always thinking about what's next. We all need a little bit more Anna Delvey in our in the way we move. For those of you who may not know what I'm referring to, Anna Delvey, the infamous con artist who was able to convince half of New York to like invest in her, art house. Now she's out of prison, she's on house arrest, but recently did Dancing with the Stars. Anyway, we all need a little bit of that, like, hey, I'm not talking to you about my business the size that it is now. I'm talking to you about what my vision is. I'm talking to you about what's happening next, what is coming, where we're going. That's the energy that I'm talking to you about. That's the energy that I'm already in. This is like manifestation 101. Embody who you are becoming now, and the rest will fall into place. It's all about energy, confidence, success. It's all about energy. It's not about how smart you are. Look at some of the top CEOs out there in the world. Look at some of the top entrepreneurs, the top wealthiest people. It's not about how smart you are. It's not about who's the most creative. It's not about who's the best. It's about confidence. So, other roles that you might be owning. Tell me if you feel called out by this. If you're listening to this on YouTube or Substack or wherever you're able to comment, I would love to know. Which one of these roles are you choosing to be instead of the CEO? Let me know. And honestly, as a solopreneur, if you don't have a big team, you do have to be all of these. So you do have to do all of this. But the problem it comes when you are doing this instead of being a CEO, when you are not dedicating. And I have a little rule of thumb here that I use with all my clients. I say 10% of your week. I mean, you could do 80/20 if you want, but let's start with like 10% of your week. You need to be doing CEO activities in CEO energy at least, right? Okay, so are you the project manager? This is the most popular one. This is the one everyone's comfortable with. We're like, yes, I'm all about the timelines and making the to-do list. Like, you're very good at the tasks. You're like, oh, I know what I need to do. It doesn't mean I do it, but I know what I need to do. I have my list. I have list upon list. I have lists of my lists. If you were to go in my notes app right now, oh my goodness, you would be probably shocked how many lists I have. Right? So you have timelines, tasks, details. You love ticking things off. This is what project managers love. It's like, ooh, I did that thing. Yes. And so every week on a Monday, you might have a plan. And you're like, okay, this is my plan for the week. I know I need to get these 5 things done. Amazing. You might, if you're an elite project manager, maybe you have a little Virgo or Capricorn in you. I don't know. I'm not peeping on your astrology chart, but you may be someone who's actually looking at the month or actually looking at the quarter or maybe even the next 6 months. More power to you. That's great. That means you are a good project manager because you are looking at timelines further out. But you're still just being a project manager. You're thinking about the tasks that need to be done, not the strategy that's being executed or the vision that is being realized. Because the truth is, the tasks are the tasks, but the universe doesn't really work in terms of just our human timelines. There is such a thing as quantum leaping. There is such a thing as, suddenly overnight everything changes. And when that happens, the project manager has to throw those plans out and readjust. And sometimes that's fun, and sometimes it's scary. And we don't know what is next. Tomorrow is not promised. The project manager only knows about tomorrow, but the CEO is working on a whole different level. Now, the next role you might be embodying is the copywriter and creative. Let me know if this is you, okay? Oh my gosh, it's all about the look and feel. It's all about the beautiful brand. It's all about the aesthetics. It's all about the photo shoots. It's all about the fonts. Like it is gorgeous. Your brand, you are so in love with working on your brand. You're so in love with it. And I am not, like, I hope you don't hear this as sarcasm because I am one of these too. Like, I love working on visual brand stuff. I could just spend all day making imagery for my programs and my courses. Like, literally. Like some of my favorite imagery. There was a program that nobody signed up to a few years ago called Vanguard, and it was for manifestors, and no manifestors signed up. It was fine. There were manifestors that ended up being one-to-one clients around the same time, but nobody signed up for the program. But it was so funny because, that's so manifestor. If you know why I'm laughing, like they just like, don't tell me what to do, and I don't want to be in a program with other manifestors. Anyway, but that imagery is still some of my favorite imagery, and it took me hours to create. Like I just loved it. I had this whole like me and like this in this kind of New York skyline, and I made it really moody and really cool, and it was all about being like cutting edge because that's what manifestors do. They're the vanguard, they're the front lines like of everything, of ideas, of creation, of innovation. It was such a great concept, and I loved it. Nobody bought it. Okay. But I was so excited because I love being the copywriter and the creative, right? And maybe this is you too. Maybe this is your safe place. Maybe this is Canva, Photoshop, Adobe is your safe space. You're just like, if I could just do this and be paid, I would love it. Thank you so much. Right? You love doing that. You love being a copywriter. You love communicating with your people. You love writing your weekly emails. You love, working with ChatGPT, chatting with your ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you're using. You love like figuring out creative ways of presenting your work. You love the poetry of it. You love it. Yes, nothing wrong with that. Okay. But if you're doing that instead of being the CEO, then how are you going to innovate your message to match where you're going, to match the vision, to match what's next? Instead, you're focusing on the now instead of thinking about how is this evolving? How is this changing? When I put my CEO hat on in my business in 2022, I realized that I didn't want to be Rachel coaching. I wanted to be building Cosmic Queen, a place that people could gather around, a place that represents something bigger than me, a thing, entity, whatever you want to call it, that can live on past me, beyond me, that someone could take over after me. I have a massive vision for my work, and just calling it my name and coaching was not big enough. When I finally put my CEO hat on, that's how I always think of it. I think of putting a hat on or whatever it is. For you, it might be something else. You wave your CEO wand, you see more clearly and you see where this thing is going and you move accordingly. When I created Cosmic Queen, the brand, it was because I had elevated my self concept and I really started to see myself as a CEO with a bigger view of what was coming. As a copywriter and creative, I was just having a good time creating programs, finding new ways of kind of showing my work that I do. But it's really like the same thing over and over. But the innovation came from the CEO energy. Next role, community manager. Okay, how many of you are great community managers? Hey, how's everyone doing out there? You're all about the nurturing the relationships. You're having coffee, you're having tea, you're meeting people face to face, you're checking in on people. You're all over the DMs. You know everything that's going on with your clients, like you're so connected to them. You have rock solid relationships with them, right? This is an important role, and it's not the CEO role. The CEO role is looking at future, what is coming, what is happening, who are the people who I can work with and connect with to take it higher to the next level, right? Sales associate, are you a great salesperson? I bet a lot of you are and you don't even know it. Anyone with strong Gemini, okay, you're a great salesperson. You just don't realize it. So, are you all about getting those hot leads, right? You plan launches, you do your marketing, you're the voice of the business, you've got your podcast going, you're doing all the things. You're like, yes, let's get this business out there, let's be visible, let's sell what we got. I say that thing about hot leads is always tickles me because when in my first job in London, there was this guy named Nick. Shout out to Nick if he ever listens to this. Oh my gosh. And he was the head of the sales team. He would say, Rachel, have you got those hot leads yet for me? And I'd be like, Nick, I'm working on it. And like we just had a little shtick. It was very funny. It was very like new girl vibes. He was a total Schmidt. Anyway, hot leads, right? If you're the sales associate, you that's your focus in the business is you're like sales, 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 money, 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 hustle, hustle. Let's make it happen. Let's have some fun here. Let's plan a great launch. Let's do a 20-day challenge. Let's get out there. Let's do some press. Like let's make it happen. Yes. And this is great. You're the voice, but the vision is still owned by someone else, and that is your CEO side. The last one I want to cover here is one that I think my audience specifically will really resonate with, and that is being the healer. Oh, yes. We are very good at being the person who is giving the service, right? We love to be of service. We love to help people. We love that feeling when someone says, oh my God, you helped me transform. You helped me heal. You helped me change my life. You helped me leave this toxic marriage. You helped me say yes to myself. You helped me lay down good boundaries. You helped me fix my relationship with my kids. You helped me. Like when someone says that to you and you realize the impact of the work you're doing, you just want to be the healer forever. You're like, yes, this is why I got into this. This is why I do this work. The healer side of me is strong. It's skilled and it's so satisfied just doing the work. And so many people come to me and they're like, I just want to do the work. Why do I have to do all these other things? Why do I have to sell? Why do I have to write copy? Why do I have to make content? Why do I have to be visible? Why do I have to ask for testimonials? Like, why do I have to do all this? I just want to do the work. If that's you, hear me when I say you're running away from your own greatness. You're running away from the actual impact that you could have. You're running away from the dream that made you start this business in the first place. Because you likely, if you're listening to this, did not come here just to work with 5 or 10 people in this life. You came here because you want to influence much, much more. Maybe it's an industry that you want to disrupt. Maybe it's a whole community that you want to raise up. Maybe it's a lineage that you are helping to heal. But you are here for more than the 5 or 6 clients that you are working with or the small numbers of people that you are impacting. Every single life is important and every single story is valuable. But if you're listening to this and you clicked on this podcast and you've gotten this far, then I know you want more. I know you were born for more. So it's time to score yourself. I like to do the 1 to 10 thing, Like, let's quantify this a little bit. How much on a scale of 1 to 10 are you in your CEO energy? Be honest with yourself. Be compassionate and empathetic with yourself right now, not in the past, not in the future, right now. How much are you embodying your CEO energy? I would say if I'm being super honest with myself, I would say I'm probably at like between a 6 and a 7 in terms of embodying my CEO energy. Some days more than others. But this has made all the difference in terms of getting through some really big changes in my business, some really big moments of self-doubt, some really big crises of confidence that I've had over the past couple of years, thinking, I don't know, I see the vision, but am I the one? Am I smart enough? Am I skilled enough? Do I have enough energy? Am I the one to do this, or am I seeing someone else's vision? Answer that question for yourself. And let me tell you, with what I've seen that I can do, the people that I can impact, the business that I can build, the success that I can have, the satisfaction that I can create for me, and the home that I can create for my family. If I can do that on a six, the sky is the limit. There is no limit to what I can create. There is no limit to the impact I can have. There is no limit to where I, Rachel Starr, and Cosmic Queen can go. I'm excited for when I get to 10. What about you? What about you? Can you even imagine what you would be like when you are at a 10 in your CEO energy? Freaking unstoppable. Hold the vision. Be the person who is responsible for the vision. Be the person who is responsible for the strategy, who sees beyond the stars for you and your business. You've got to join me in this masterclass. We are going to unlock your confident cosmic CEO energy. It's about, it's not about being the CEO that you see other people being. It's about being the unique CEO that you were born to be. And you know me, it's all about uniqueness, differentiation, and embracing your genius. There is a type of CEO that you were born to be. And I want you to come with me to this masterclass on this journey to unlock that for yourself. You're not, you don't have to be a corporate Bezos in order to be the CEO that you were born to be. You get to choose your style, your way, your vision, your strategy, your unique CEO energy. And it is my honor to help you unlock that. So come and join June 18th, the Confident Cosmic CEO Masterclass. We're going to do some amazing work and activate some amazing energy within you. I can't wait. Keep reaching for the stars.